Good evening and welcome to State of Business on our television. I'm Nadun Sirivardhana. Let's have a look at the headlines. Finance Ministry is fully equipped to fund the elections, Subject Minister says. Sri Lanka seeks to enhance trade ties with the Malaysian Indian business community. News in detail. State Minister of Finance Ranjit Siambalapitiya has reassured the public that the Finance Ministry is fully prepared to support the upcoming presidential election regardless of the number of candidates. Speaking at an event in Yatihantota recently, the minister emphasized that the government is ready to cover all costs associated with the election, ensuring no financial hurdles. Minister Siambalapitiya clarified that the increased number of candidates in this year's presidential election will not pose any financial difficulties. He noted that while the expenditure estimate for the polls has not exceeded the 10 billion rupee limit, there could be additional cost if the number of candidates significantly increases. The State Minister assured that the Finance Ministry is preparing to allocate the necessary funds based on the estimates submitted by the Election Commission. He highlighted that the current budget is sufficient to cover essential expenses such as printing, security and transportation. He also mentioned that certain costs like official allowances may not require immediate disbursement, further easing financial pressures. When asked about candidates expressing intentions to call for parliamentary elections immediately after winning the presidential polls, Siambalapitiya stated that funds have only been allocated for this year's presidential election. Now, the High Commissioner of Sri Lanka to Malaysia, Air Chief Marshal Sumangala Dias, held a pivotal meeting with the Kuala Lumpur and Selangor Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. The meeting, held at the Sri Lankan High Commission in Malaysia, saw the participation of KLSICCI President Nivas Raghavan and other key office bearers. The discussion centered around enhancing bilateral trade, investment, tourism and employment opportunities between the two nations. High Commissioner Sumangala Dias emphasized the importance of collaborative efforts to address the existing trade imbalance between Sri Lanka and Malaysia. He underscored the need to boost Sri Lanka's export to Malaysia while also promoting Sri Lanka as a prime destination for Malaysian outbound tourism. President Nivas Raghavan expressed the Chamber's readiness to facilitate connections between Sri Lanka's retail businesses and the Malaysian market, which could significantly enhance trade relations. During the meeting, the High Commissioner also introduced plans to promote the Ramayana Trial, a spiritual tourism initiative aimed to deepen cultural ties through people-to-people connections. Additionally, he briefed the delegation on the investment opportunities available for Malaysian investors in the Colombo Port City project. The Chamber expressed a strong interest in organizing a business delegation to Sri Lanka to explore these opportunities further. The Committee on Public Accounts raised serious concerns over the payment procedures followed by the Irrigation Department, which do not comply with the government's financial regulations. The matter came to light during a COPA meeting held under the chairmanship of State Minister Lasantha Alagiyawanna last week. COPA has directed its attention to several irregularities in the financial practices of the Irrigation Department, particularly regarding the payment procedures that violate the established monetary regulations of the government. This issue has been compounded by the department's failure to implement recommendations from previous COPA meetings aimed at rectifying these procedures. During the meeting, COPA questioned officials about an incident involving the Basnagoda Reservoir construction project. The original bid for the project, submitted by a contractor, was 2 billion rupees. However, the bid was increased by 254 million rupees, bringing the total to 2.3 billion rupees based on the recommendations of the Technical Evaluation Committee. This increase in the bid amount has raised eyebrows, and COPA demanded an explanation from the officials present. In response, the officials acknowledged that there had been an error in the calculation which led to a double entry. They assured COPA that all necessary measures had been taken to correct this mistake. In another revelation, COPA discussed an issue from 2022 where 1,177 checks amounting to over 352 million rupees were issued in the name of the regional irrigation engineer. It was discovered that a divisional assistant had cancelled the crossing of some checks and cashed them himself. COPA recommended that responsible officials take appropriate action to address this serious breach of protocol. Furthermore, the committee scrutinized the Ging Nilavela project, where an advance payment of 4.35% of the project estimate had been done. Despite this, the project has not commenced as expected, prompting further discussion and concern from COPA. Stay tuned, we will return after this commercial break. Welcome back. The Inter-School Capital Market Quiz Competition, Capital Market Masters, successfully concluded its provincial level rounds across Sri Lanka. The event was organised by the Securities and Exchange Commission of Sri Lanka and the Colombo Stock Exchange in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and the Presidential Secretariat. The Capital Market Masters competition has brought together some of the brightest young minds in Sri Lanka, with schools from various provinces vying for the top spot. In the Cluster 3 competition, Dharmaraja College Kandy emerged as the victor among 11 prominent schools from the Central Province. Meanwhile, in the Cluster 4 competition, Ananda College and Royal College not only won the Cluster 4 competition but also became joint champions of the Western Province. Sivali Central College and Tangol Balika Vidyalaya triumphed in the Sabaragamu and Southern Provinces respectively. The Colombo Stock Exchange hosted a special awareness session titled Creating Opportunities for Wealth Creation and Diversification at a hotel in Colombo recently. This event aimed to educate investors on the various alternative instruments available at the CSC. The forum attracted over 160 participants, bringing together a diverse group of stakeholders, including institutional investors, high net worth individuals, primary dealers, fund managers, and rating agencies. In his opening remarks, Chairman of the CSC, Dilshan Veerasekara, emphasized the shift from a historical equity-dominated exchange to one offering a broader range of financial products. Chairman of the SEC, Faisal Saleh, addressed the participants, noting the focus on sustainability-linked products to attract ESG-conscious investors who prioritize transparency and global standards. He highlighted the advancements made by the Joint Committee, including the expansion of sustainable bonds to include social bonds and the establishment of a central counterparty system. The forum also featured an engaging panel discussion, which was followed by a Q&A session. The Ministry of Sports and Youth Affairs, in collaboration with the Ministry of Tourism, is all set to host the Sri Lanka Sports Fiesta 2024 from August 16 to 18th in Colombo. The organising committee said that this event is the first of its kind in South Asia at a press conference held in Colombo last week. The Sri Lanka Sports Fiesta 2024, powered by Dialog Axiata, will feature over 3,000 athletes competing in 7 electrifying team sports: cricket, rugby, football, volleyball, netball, hockey and basketball. Designed to showcase local talent and inspire the next generation of athletes, the Fiesta aims to provide a platform for competitors to display their skills at a high level. The organisers intend to make this an annual event, ensuring ongoing opportunities for athletes and continuous excitement for fans every year. Rugby and football matchups will be held at the racecourse grounds, while volleyball and netball matches will be held at the Royal College Indoor Sports Complex and Torrington grounds respectively. Hockey games will occur on the AstroTurf, the basketball matches will be showcased on the 3x3 court, and the cricket games will be held at the Bloomfield and Thurston grounds. Stay tuned for the stock update. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on positive notes today.
The all share price index gained 34.93 points to close at 11,347.41, and the S&P SL 20 gained 10.74 points to close at 3,244.61. The turnover was 0.6 billion rupees and over 16 million shares were traded.
Up next are forex rates. That's all our news for today. For this and more, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on Facebook. Take care and good night.